okay, the biggest club in the land, had a scattergun approach in the transfer window. Di Maria, Falcao, Herrera, Rojo, Shaw. I mean, the list goes on.
Daley Blind.
Daley Blind as well, who of course, Van Gaal knows from his days with the Dutch squad. What have you made of Manchester United? First off, the start to the season. Let's kick off with that one.
Well, highly inconsistent because I thought they were quite impressive in beating a rather flaccid QPR, for example. They were very impressive in striding into Leicester and taking that game over with 2 goals of majestic quality. And then they turn into the worst team in the league. I mean, with all due respect to Leicester, and they deserve respect.
It's a good side, Leicester.
They are a good side, quick and athletic, and obviously well organised by Nigel Pearson. So they deserve to win 5-3, and Paddy was sensational. But Manchester United looked a complete mess. They looked a little bit like the team. I don't know if you saw it, Curbs. One of the newspapers, just before the season, as the transfer window ended, took Manchester United's 11 best players that they collected all over the summer, as well to add to the ones that were there, and put them in their ideal positions. And it looked like a map of the South Seas. It didn't look like a football team set up to win a football match.
Well, it's top heavy, Curbs. The squad is totally unbalanced. The question that I'm going to ask you as an ex-manager, how do you get Van Persie, Falcao, Rooney and Di Maria in the side? Now, on paper, you think it's easy. Actually, it's not as easy because they're 4 very, very attacking players. You throw Herrera in there as well, and that's 5. So half your team is looking to go forward. We saw again, as Paddy's pointed out, conceded 5 goals away Leicester.
And when Luke Shaw gets himself fit, you've got another attacking defender. And at the moment, the right back, Valencia or Rafael, is another attacking defender. The problem defensively for me is not just cropped up now. It was there with Alex, in all fairness. Teams were going to Old Trafford and scoring goals, and his side then outscored the opposition. David Moyes, let's think about it. Had teams going to Old Trafford last year, Everton never won there before, Newcastle never won there before, Swansea never won there before. Teams were going to Old Trafford not fearing the team, and went there and got results and scored goals. I'm looking at it now, and I go back to Van Gaal coming in late. I think that was a big mistake, signing a manager who was still involved in a World Cup, even though supposedly how good he is. Secondly, the transfer business then was delayed because Van Gaal had to come in. He wanted to assess his squad somewhat, and then you found in that last week massive panic, and he's gone out and I think has decided he's going to blast his way out of trouble by trying to score more goals than the opposition. He ain't played anyone yet, no disrespect. He ain't played none of the top sides yet.
Just imagine if he'd had the start David Moyes had with fixtures against Liverpool, Chelsea and Man United.
Absolutely. So I think at the moment, if I was a manager of Man United going into Man United, I would have looked at the most important part of the defence, which is the goalkeeper and the 2 centre-halves. And I'd have noted over the last 2 seasons, the only constant has been that goalkeeper. The 2 centre-halves have changed week in, week out. It's either been Vidic and Fernand. One of them's been out, so Smalling coming. One of them's been out, Evans coming. Evans and Smalling, Jones and Smalling, Jones and Evans. It's just been mixed up every time, and it's probably been the same this season so far. So that most important triangle of the goalkeeper and the 2 centre-halves have to stay constant. Bourtois, John Terry, Cahill, Joe Hart is going to be Company, Magala. You need that crux of your team to be constant. And Man United have not had that for the last 2 seasons, for whatever reason. He had to go out and buy 2 marquee centre-halves who are going to play every week. Because history suggests, and it's rearing its ugly head now, Jones is out injured. Evans is out injured. Smalling's just come back from injury.
It's a
constant problem.
Yes.
It's a constant problem at Man United.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson famously said, "Strikers will win you games, defenders will win you."
Well, let me just one more thing, because I know Patrick likes some of my stats. Let me tell you, the team that has the best defensive record is normally the team that wins the Premier League. Forget how many goals scored. You will see that the team that invariably wins the Premier League. He's got a great goal scoring record, but they've got the best defensive.
I do like it.
Have a look at it.
Van Gaal has come in.
Yeah.
Top 3 apparently is what he has been told by Edward Woodward, the chief exec.
Yeah, he's
at the
taken
club. That's not guaranteed, by the way. There is absolutely, you can't. The two things I think we'll say is Chelsea and Man City will be there.
Yeah.
Arsenal are going through. They seem to be nudging along quite nicely.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees Man United finish top 4, let alone top 3.
No, I agree with you. I think it's between them and, well, if you look at it optimistically from the Manchester United point of view, they're fighting for third place with, I mean, Chelsea and Man City will be 1 and 2 in my opinion, by a long way. Arsenal and Manchester United, if Manchester United gel after 3 months, as Van Gaal assures us they will, then they're fighting for third place. They meet quite soon in a few weeks. I think that'll be a very, very interesting first meeting. And in a way, they're similar teams in that they will be accused, persistently, and there's no way of getting around this. They'll be accused of having a preponderance of attackers and not enough defenders of class. And of the two, I have to say, I would fancy Arsenal. So top 3 is asking a lot.
Indeed. I mentioned those players there. I mean, Di Maria. Who's not going to want Di Maria? Who's not going to want Falcao? But now he's got them. It's getting them into a formation, and this is another problem that Van Gaal seems to have had. What is his best formation? Now, because of those injuries that he's got, you read that Carrick might be a centre half, which tells you all about their transfer dealings more than anything else.
Well, Alex had to do that quite a few occasions, didn't he? And even David Moyes had to play Carrick as a centre back. And as I say, that problem has been there for the last couple of seasons. When I looked at Man United, with Raphael at right back and Evra at left back, when you close your eyes and think about the 2 fullbacks, you see them going forward. Yeah. You don't see them at the far post heading things away, do you? You don't see them as a defensive fullback. So that left the 2 centre halves, whoever they may be, exposed. And just thinking off the top of my head, Bow running down the middle, the Spurs right down the middle, yeah. and then no cover for the 2 centre halves. So then he went past them as well. And it's been a problem, as I say, for perhaps 18 months, not been addressed. And I think Van Gaal, when he came in late, was too late to do anything about it. I think they were probably in the market for centre backs, but couldn't get the ones they wanted or the quality. So fitting them all in is going to be a big problem. And I think that if he had Champions League football to worry about, which he hasn't got, League Cup football to worry about, that he hasn't got, he could rotate, mix and match and keep everyone quite happy. Yeah. Now, where they play on the Saturday and then they play on the following Saturday, there's going to be some disappointed players going to be left out of that Man United team. Now, the man management comes into that. Can he keep that squad happy?
Okay, well, you spent 150 million and you put Mata and Fellaini in that. There's a thick end of £200 million that's been spent. There's still some way off. There's still some way off, for me, getting in that top 2 which where their aspirations will be over the next 12 to 18 months.
Absolutely.
So January comes around, it's always a tough market, and clubs like Manchester United want to be signing marquee players, but those players, we're guessing, and quite rightly, should still be in the Champions League. Yeah. So even when you go into the January market, this is not a market or an area that clubs want to be going in buying top-class defenders.
No, it's not, but I think the one advantage Manchester United have got is that they're Manchester United. That the attraction of going to that club is still massive, even though they can't offer Champions League football. They've got a lot of money because financial fair play. Okay, Chelsea have to be clever to work within the constraints of it. Manchester City, as we've found, have got fined for not working within the constraints of it. Manchester United don't have to worry because their earnings are so massive that they can spend what they like, and they will have to buy, I think, a centre half to go with Phil Jones. Now, if you'd asked 3 years ago, where in the Premier League is there a young centre half who's good enough for Manchester United, you'd have said Blackburn. His name's Phil Jones. Since then, he's been moved and shifted about. Now's the time for him to play at centre half. There were good signs before he got injured, I thought. in his performances, both mainly in a back three actually, for under Van Gaal, that he really settled. Because the image of Phil Jones is his eyes goggling, falling like a sack of spuds. And they're a little bit too demonstrative for a centre half. Sorry, Jason.
Sorry,
I wouldn't include you as well.
No offence taken.
But I think he's calming down now, and he's looking a much better player. So maybe also think this is just a personal opinion. I look at Luke Shaw, and yes, he's the most very exciting attacking left back. He's got the physique of a centre back. He's also got people say he's not positionally cute. I wonder if he might convert into a centre half, and that's, if anybody's going to do something as brave as that, it'd be Louis van Gaal. We'll see. In the real world, yes, I agree with you. Break the bank in January and see if you can find an experienced, quick Mangala to play alongside Jones.